Governor Cuomo may have won the election, but some new numbers out show it wasn't the kind of victory that other governors around the country enjoyed. As a matter of fact, the post-election analysis shows that Cuomo had less support than any candidate elected governor in the United States. How's that likely to affect him going forward? Joining us now to talk about the numbers and their impact, our political analyst, the state political columnist for the New York Post, Fred Dicker, joining us from Albany as he does. And Fred, we know the governor wanted a big showing, and after a while that looked like that was going to be difficult to come by, and everybody thought he did pretty well, all things considered. But these numbers seem to tell a different story.
They do, Liz. They come from Capital New York. Let's give them a plug. They had a story on it today, and they're really quite remarkable. I mean, as you noted, the worst showing in terms of the percentage of voters in a state for a governor was Governor Andrew Cuomo. Now, we knew that his vote total had dropped off, or the tally for the election dropped off about 1 million votes from 4 years ago. But when you look closely at these numbers, it turns out the governor did less well with voters than Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York City, did. And we know that Eric Schneiderman, the Attorney General, and Tom DiNapoli, the State Comptroller, did better than the governor. So to answer your first question, Governor Cuomo's not happy with these numbers, that's for sure. I think that's probably one of the reasons he's done virtually no interviews since the election, which is pretty extraordinary.
Well, he may simply be trying to either revamp or just come up with a plan to sort of enhance his popularity. I wonder, how does this affect him going forward, though? Got a lot of stuff on his plate he wants to see done. I mean, if the fact that he doesn't feel as if he has a sort of a resounding vote of confidence from the New York voters, does that hurt him?
Liz, you really have such a good heart. You know, you think of the best for people. I had the image of the governor steaming, with the steam coming out of his ears when he saw these numbers, and that's why he hasn't been talking to anybody. But you may be right. Look, he's always thinking in political terms, and he's obviously looking to boost his popularity with the public. I dare say that's why he's out in Buffalo today, or he was out there this afternoon, as well he should be. But the bottom line is, and quite bluntly, I think a lot of people have made up their minds on Andrew Cuomo. A lot of people don't like him. That includes a lot of people in his own Democratic Party, which is one of the reasons he did as relatively poorly as he did. Keep in mind that if New York City, which is so heavily Democratic, was taken out of the mix, we would have Governor Rob Astorino today. Astorino beat the governor outside of New York City.
So, and Fred, what about that divide? So clearly it's wider than ever. How does that affect governance going forward?
Well, it's going to affect it quite practically with the Senate now in Republican hands. I mean, part of the reason for that, even though the governor had promised that he was going to try to put the Democrats in control of the Senate, he failed, partly because the Democrats that were turned out of office in the Senate were beaten in areas where Astorino did very well. That means he's going to face a more energized, if one could call it that, a Senate Republican conference. They've been kind of rolling over for the governor, but I think they've gotten the message now that they should be stronger. And also, depending on what the governor's up to in terms of his agenda, and we don't really know what his second-term agenda is, he may meet more resistance outside of New York City than he's ever met before. All
right. Well, I know you'll be following it for us. We appreciate that. And, of course, he'll be talking about it on the radio as well. Fred's got a radio program called Live from the State Capitol. It's weekday mornings, 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM. Check it out.